it seems like in this environment, in order to have the correct opinion, you have to join some type of illusionary world where facts don't matter. So I can't try to tell nobody who to listen to, but I will say that you should listen to more people that are thinking about things that you haven't thought about, and that are willing to say things that other people are not willing or they are scared to say. Because I really don't understand what people don't understand, because this is what they do. They say, vote for us and we're going to make a more equitable society for you. Vote for us and we're going to make things more free and equal. Vote for us and we're going to build back better. Vote for us and we're going to reduce inflation. Vote for us and we're going to create jobs. We're going to reduce inflation. We're going to eliminate racism. We're going to have job creation. We're going to build back better. We're going to pay off your student loans. We're going to do all of these things for you. Now, I would have to be a complete moron to identify a problem and then go to the very same people who have caused and perpetuated that problem, go to them for the solution.
Letting them know it's going to be a problem.
The reason why you got inequality and economic disparity is not because of racism. That's a distraction. It's because of the monetary policies that your public servants have implemented in this country. It's about money and the enslaving of people through debt. Are you aware that in 1933 there was a national emergency, and they did away with constitutionally mandated lawful money and instituted a system of fiat currency, which is a debt-based system, and it 100% totally depends on the creation of debt in order to create money.
In the event that the national emergency is still critical, I shall not evade the clear course of duty that will then confront me. I shall ask the Congress for the one remaining instrument to meet the crisis: broad executive power to wage a war against the emergency, as great as the power that would be given to me if we were in fact invaded by a foreign foe.
It's a system that allows central banks that are not part of the government to manipulate and control the economic activity of a country.
Broad executive power.
It's debt-based. That means that the creation of money is synonymous with borrowing money. And the way this is working right now, they're borrowing money that someone else has to pay back. So it's no wonder you have war after war, crisis after crisis, pandemics. They just sent about 70 billion to Ukraine.
To wage a war against the emergency.
They spending money on this and spending money on that. You don't notice that their solution to every problem is to spend more money? Said another way, create more debt, borrow more money?
So do you think the American people deserve to know where their money's being spent? This was from their sister agency, the NIH, but we can't get started without talking about it. This is over $800,000 to study whether or not Japanese quail are more sexually promiscuous on cocaine. I'm not making this up. $800,000 of taxpayer money to study whether Japanese quail are more sexually promiscuous on cocaine. You think we could have just polled the audience? You think we could have just said, what do you think? Because that's sort of the answer. The answer is yes. And yet your government spent $800,000 on that. And then when we pointed it out 5 years ago, did they do anything to reform it? No, they're here today to give the agencies that are doing this research more money.
Do you ask yourself the question, who are they borrowing this money from? Do you ask yourself, who has to pay it back? And how is it going to get paid back? I'll tell you who got to pay it back. Future generations. That's the economic model, man. Create a society of mindless consumers, and you can borrow money and do what you want to do with it and put it on their back. They got to pay it back.
Again, you got the drug dealers that people call Big Pharma. You got the military-industrial complex. and you got the gamblers, the casinos that are running America and most of the world.
You put these people in charge and think you can just go vote every few years and everything's going to be all right. But you forgot that you are supposed to be the oversight of what these people are doing. But if you don't know what's going on, they're going to do what the hell they want to do.
This next study points out a problem with funding in general in our government. You give funds for something that ostensibly might be a good cause. So a couple of years ago, they gave money for autism, $700,000 for autism. You think, well, autism, even myself, as conservative as I am, I could probably say, well, that's something we ought to study, autism. Well, they subcontracted $700,000 of it to a bunch of egghead researchers to watch Neil Armstrong's statement on the moon. You remember the black and white photo? He's on the moon, and he says, one small step for man, one giant leap for mankind, or did he really say one small step for a man? So these researchers took $700,000 to listen to that crackly old cassette recording and find out, did he say man or did he say a man? So we studied the preposition a, and we spent $700,000 listening to the tape over and over and over again. And you know what they determined? They just can't decide. They're unsure, but they did recommend more money to study the problem further. This is insulting to the American taxpayer. We should not be giving these people more money. We should be giving them dramatically less money.
They're public servants, not public masters. But when the masters forget who they are, the demons take over the fortress and cause chaos and destruction. So what you are witnessing is the creation of a total slave society, because people have outsourced. You can outsource some things. Have people do things that you don't want to do or that you don't have time to do. But you cannot outsource thinking. And that's what we have done. So these people are going to continue to borrow more money in larger and larger amounts, and you must support it or you are going to be called unpatriotic. You can't speak out against it or you're going to be censored, and the media's job is to provide you the narrative that is conducive to their objectives. To tell them who to vote for and to make sure that the general public never has a comprehensive understanding of how the system actually works. And we participate in our own demise through ignorance, and all of the so-called solutions amount to the further enslavement of the people.
Over the last year, fights for reparations have made some headway across the country. The task force in California recommended offering housing grants, free tuition, and job protections as reparations to Black people. Advocates in New Jersey are pushing reparations as a way to help close the state's $300,000 racial wealth gap. And in Evanston, Illinois last year, they became the very first city in America to actually pass and issue reparations in the form of housing vouchers.
You hear all of this talk about reparations, but because people don't understand how the financial system works, they don't ask themselves one question: where is the money coming from? The federal government is bankrupt, broke. They have no money. I explained to you that the only way they can create money is create debt that somebody else got to pay back. Future generations have to pay it back. That means your children, your grandchildren. It's going to be higher taxes, higher inflation. It's going to be a devaluation of the currency, because that's how the system is designed. And that's what they don't want you to know. But it's very simple to understand if you just look a little bit further past your nose into it.
Members of Congress are official trustees presiding over the greatest reorganization of any bankrupt entity in world history, the U.S. government.
So where's the money coming? Where's the money going to come from? You mean you're going to borrow money from yourself that your baby's got to pay back?
But we never got an apology for slavery without conditions, and we never got any restitution or redress. And this is about that.
You mean to tell me that it's a good idea to borrow money from my children in order so that I can maintain today? So I'm gonna wait, and then y'all let me know. One simple question: where is the money going to come from? I'm not saying reparations are a good idea, bad idea. I'm just asking one simple question. Then I can make a judgment on whether it's a good idea or bad idea or not, but I'm just saying, where is the money coming from? Let me know where I'm confused at.